Today I wanted to revisit a video I made 7 months ago. Let's pull it up. 7 months ago, I made my ranking and reviewing every Mac Miller album. This was April 20th of 2022, so literally just 7 months ago. And this was my introduction to Mac Miller. I listened to every album twice and just straight up reviewed it. But now it's been 7 months. I've listened to the albums at least 5 times or more each. And I've had like some connections with the songs, really got to let them grow on me, things like that. And nearly every album on this list has changed. Mac Miller has become one of my favorite, if not my favorite artist of all time now. And I think I can give a better insight on this topic than I did 7 months ago. I will link this in the description and at the end of the video if you want to check that out if you haven't already. So I'm not going to go as depth as I did in the first video. I'll probably go just as in depth and just get lost talking about Mac Miller. But still, let's hop right into it. We're going to do chronological order. So we're going to start with Kids. Kids, I'm going to be throwing up into B tier. I'm going to compare my new ranking to my old ranking every single time. Previously, I had this up in A tier. And while this is like a monumental album for Mac Miller, his first legit, well, technically it was a mixtape at first, but this is like his first big thing he did. It was a mixtape when it dropped. It then got released as an album. But Kids is just iconic. It's classic to Mac Miller, his identity, and him as an artist. And there are tons of good songs on this album, but the entirety of the album isn't great in my opinion. I think there are phenomenal, near perfect songs on said album. However, the entirety of the album isn't worth an A tier. But those banger songs on there really get it close to being to an A tier. But you got to consider every album on the song. Let's open up Spotify, something I didn't do last time. Kids, the deluxe album. Now, here's the thing, is there are 3 specific songs in my head that make this album better than it would be without him. It's Senior Skip Day, The Spins, and Knock Knock. 3 of the greatest Mac Miller songs of all time, in my opinion. S-tier songs, absolute S-tier songs in my opinion. I love these 3 songs. But once again, I'm not ranking this just on those 3 songs. There's 15 other songs, you know. There's 18 songs on the deluxe album entirely. So I have to take all of that in consideration. Those are my 3 best songs on this album, and there are other good songs. Like I like Don't Mind If I Do. I like Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. I like All I Want Is You, Facing the Crowd, all really good songs. People really like Nikes on My Feet. Not a big fan. But yeah, like I said, it's a big monumental thing for Mac Miller. It's like the origin story in a way. And I love those 3 songs, but I don't think that alone bumps it up to an A tier. So I'm going to have to put it in B tier this time. Up next, we've got the Best Day Ever album. And I'm going to have to put that in B tier just above the Kids album, which may be controversial. Let's see where it ranked last time. So this ranked above Blue Slide Park and Kids last time, but in A tier. This time, going down to B tier. Once again, I was very new to Mac Miller at the time, things like that. But like I said with Kids, let's look at the Best Day Ever album. I have a bunch of liked songs. I try not to have liked songs on Spotify. I just like to bookmark them. It's essentially a bookmark for me, but there's tons of good songs. Absolute banger song, Donald Trump. Love that song. Not even politically speaking, just a great, great song. Wake Up, another really good song in my opinion. In the Air. See, here's the thing, is Kids has more heavy hitters in my opinion, but Best Day Ever is a more well-rounded album in my opinion. Life Ain't Easy, I like. He does some experimental things on this album. Like, what's the song? Yeah, Play Your Cards. It's kind of like an experimental thing. I like it. So I don't think this song has as many, or this album has as many heavy hitters as Kids does, but overall, I think it's more consistently better than Kids. Kids has higher highs, but it also has lower lows, and because of that, I think I'm gonna have to put it above Kids in the B tier. Now we move on to I Love Life, Thank You. This was not technically an album 7 months ago. It got released as an album a month or 2 ago. And it's unfortunate, but I'm going to have to throw it into D tier. You know, I don't like F tier for ranking people's music because I don't think anything's a failure technically. But out of all of his albums, I will say this is 100% my least favorite, which is kind of sad to say in a way because here, let's go to it. There's a few songs I like. I Love Life, Thank You, great song. The Scoop on Heaven, okay, decent song, interesting concept. It's all right. Pretty slightly above average, but the main banger, the main standout song, Love Lost, I absolutely love this song. Great song, near S tier, if not S tier song, but like nothing really sticks out on this album to me. Like Willie Dynamite as the 3rd song in, really had me like, oh, come on. And then I don't know, Mac Miller earlier on in his career has a bad tendency of sounding similar in all of his songs on the same album, and even across his first three main albums, Best Day Ever, Blue Slide Park, Kids, and I Love Life, Thank You. He kind of all sounds the same, but with slight variations on all of them. And there's just nothing that really catches my attention besides these three songs, with Love Lost being the absolute best. But it doesn't do enough to even get it up in a C tier, in my opinion. I probably will not ever listen to this album its entirety again. I did it like 2 or 3 times, but I will always listen to Love Lost, I Love Life, Thank You, and The Scoop on Heaven. All of my playlists. I like those songs. Not the trash on Mac, but I think it deserves a D tier. Now we go to Blue Slide Park. I think Blue Slide Park is one of his most underrated albums, with some of the most underrated songs in his entire discography. I'm throwing it up in A tier. Controversial take, but I absolutely love Blue Slide Park. Let's look at it on Spotify. English Lane, good introductory song, little thing to the album, but we start off with 3 absolute banger songs. Blue Slide Park, great song. Party on Fifth Ave, I love the beat. I know it's like not his original beat, but I love what he did with that song. PA Nights, I feel like that song never even gets talked about. Love that song. Then 2 songs later, you have the absolute banger, Under the Weather, S tier Mac Miller song. I absolutely love Under the Weather. Doesn't get talked about a lot. Another one real quick to skip down, Missed Calls. Where is it? Under the Weather and Missed Calls give me very similar vibes. I love this style of song. Of the Soul's another good one. Up All Night's like a pop punk rocker kind of song, which I really like. And honestly, all the last few songs on the album are good. Hole in My Pocket's like not even really a song. Diamonds and Gold, I like the story behind that one. Missed Calls, like I said. Man in the Hat is interesting. And One Last Thing is a great close to an album. Really like it. Here's the thing, though, with the rankings is out of these 3 albums, Kids 100% has the most banger, heavy hitters, S tier songs with those 3, Knock Knock. I don't have to say them over and over again. You guys know the 3 I'm talking about. Those are the best 3 songs out of all of these 3 albums, in my opinion. But I'm ranking the entirety of the album, not just those heavy hitter songs. So because of that, I think Blue Slide Park has to take A tier. Last time it did get A tier, but it ranked in between Best Day Ever and Kids. There's some I think Blue Slide Park is consistently better than these 2 albums, and I stand by that. I feel like it's really, really looked over from Mac Miller. Now we move on to Macadelic. Macadelic has grown on me a little bit from the last time. Where was it last time? Last time it was in D tier. I'm not giving it a D tier. It moved up a little bit for me. It's going to C tier. All the same criticisms I had basically hold true still, but I like the Mac Miller style a little bit more than I did back 7 months ago, and what he did on this album I appreciate more. But basically everything I said still holds true. Let's take a look at Macadelic. I like Love Me As I Have Loved You as an intro, and then the first 3 songs are decent. Loud is a good one. Thoughts from a Balcony is a really good one. Aliens Fighting Robots and Vitamins aren't even bad songs, but it's just like, maybe I'm a little bit autistic or something, but music has to fit a certain category or vibe or mood. And with Macadelic, there's lots of songs that just, I don't know, they don't fit any playlists I have in a way. Like if they came on a shuffle, I'm not skipping them, but it's just like these 2 songs specifically, it's just like, I don't hate them. I actually kind of like them, but it's just like they feel super out of place in my playlists. Then I like The Morning After. I do like that song. I have that in a playlist. 1 through 8 isn't bad either. And I really do like the Mac Miller and Lil Wayne feature. I think that's another good one. And then we got Sunlight and Fuck 'Em All. Like I said, there's nothing on this album whatsoever that stands out to me. Nothing that I'm like, oh, wow, this is insane. I love this. S tier songs. It doesn't really have any S tier songs. It has like a lot of 6, 6.5, 7s. Not as many lows as I once originally claimed it had, but it doesn't do anything too special, too great to stand out. But it doesn't deserve a D tier, because there's no songs that come on that I'm just like, this song just sucks. Sorry, Mac, but it sucks. And moving straight along, I'm just going to be moving Macadelic over here, watching movies with the sound off right above it, C tier. Let's see where I ranked these 2 last time. So I put movies with the sound off in B tier, which is interesting, and Macadelic in D tier. I don't know why I would put movies with the sound off in B tier. I've never been a huge fan of that album, but like I said, Macadelic and Watching Movies with the Sound Off are kind of the same in my eyes, where there's not too many songs where I'm like, wow, this is an absolute banger, this is a masterpiece, this is perfection, but there's nothing that makes me think, oh, these are bad albums. Like I said, I definitely like Watching Movies with the Sound Off a little bit more than Macadelic. Let's take a look at it on Spotify. You got The Star Room, Avian, Bird Call, Matches, Objects in the Mirror, all good songs. Objects in the Mirror is like on borderline classic Mac Miller masterpiece, in my opinion. You've got G's with Schoolboy Q. Gotta love every song with Schoolboy Q on it. Suplexes inside of complexes and duplexes. I really like that. What else is there? Euphoria is okay. And okay, I actually like Okay with Tyler, the Creator. That's a really good one. I don't even remember that standing out to me the first time I listened to it, but then I realized Tyler, the Creator was on it, and I'm like, hey, wait, this is actually kind of cool. So like I said, nothing offensive, but nothing that I'm like, wow, this is one of my favorite of all time. Nice C tier. I think it belongs there. Now we start moving up into the later half of his discography with Faces, which originally was a mixtape. Faces, I'm going to put up in A tier, and I'm going to put it above Blue Slide Park. Faces is a really, really good album, in my opinion. Has a very consistent vibe, and I really like it. My only complaint is that it's just way too long, and I said that in the last time. Near 2-hour long album is a bit crazy, in my opinion. We're going to take a look at it on Spotify. It just doesn't matter. I absolutely love that song with the Bill Murray intro. Here We Go is a great song. Friends with Schoolboy Q. That gets stuck in my head so much with Schoolboy Q in the back just going Miller Mac, Miller Mac. I love that. It's so catchy. Angel Dust, one of the best choruses or melodies. It just beats in a Mac Miller song of all time, in my opinion. This is another one I get stuck in my head all the time. Therapy is another good one. I really like this 3-song story with Happy Birthday, Wedding, and Funeral. They all play a great story intertied with each other because it's, birthday, kind of like, the start of your life, your birth. That's not the point Mac Miller's talking about so much in this song. Then, wedding, one of the biggest parts of your life is your birthday, your wedding, and then when you die. And they all tell a great story. Wedding is the absolute best song out of those 3. I love Wedding. Really good, really deep song. I like that. Diablo is another good one. Really good lyrics, really good flow. San Francisco, I like. Insomniac with Rick Ross, a funny, upbeat song. I like that. Rain with Vince Staples, a nice chill song. So it has variety, but they all match together very well. Because like Insomniac and Rain are very different styles of songs, but they fit on the album very well with each other. And I just love this album, truthfully. And even like the last 4 songs on the album, while they're not something insane to me, they don't stick out like as classics or anything, but the last 4, Thumbelina, New Faces V2, Grand Finale, and Yeah, all really good as well. So my biggest complaint is that it's too long, but like every song kind of has a place on this album, so it's kind of almost hard to say this album's too long. It is 25 songs, but there's never songs on here where I'm like, oh, this shouldn't be in the album. It's just 2 hours to stomach at a time, and I know you don't have to listen to an album in its entirety every time you listen to it, but it's just, if you just trimmed off the fat a little bit, which is hard to say because it's not like there's songs in here where I'm like, oh, this sucks, this shouldn't be here, this is out of place. I don't know, maybe like 55 or something. Who knows? But I'm not a big fan of Colors and Shapes. I know that released as a single and people like that, but that's another one I'm not a big fan of. Either way, Faces, I really like, but if it was just a little bit shorter, I don't know how else to say it. If it was a little bit shorter, it might even be S tier. Now we move into the final 4. Good AM. Let's actually check. Let's check. We haven't looked in a while. Faces was S tier last time. Okay. So it went from the bottom of A tier to the top of A tier. So I was always a big fan of Faces. And I think I even said the same thing about Faces in this song, video. As I said, it was too long. But it's hard. It's almost hard to even say that this time. Good AM. Gotta throw this up in S tier. I can't believe I placed this in B tier. I can't believe I placed Good AM below Kids, below Blue Slide Park, below Best Day Ever. Good AM is just amazing. Almost perfect, honestly. Let's take a look at it on Spotify. I love nearly every single song. Doors, a nice little intro. Brand Name, great. Rush Hour, great. 2 Matches, pretty good. But then you get 100 Grandkids, great. Weekend, great. Clubhouse, great. In the Bag, great. Break the Law, great. Perfect Circle, Godspeed. Some of the best lyrics in a rap song I have ever heard. Let's I'm not going to listen to it because that'll get me copyrighted on YouTube, but let's just take a look at the lyrics. The second half of the song, after the voicemail from his brother. Let's see. I just got to read some of them off because like this whole part of the song is just some of the greatest lyrics in rap, in my opinion. Thought I'd have it figured out by now. Shit would be simple. Problems would be in the past by now. Me and the homies would be sitting on millions, reminiscing when we were so broken, living in Oakland, just chilling. It's just like, it's so relatable to so many people that you can feel the emphasis. You can feel the soul behind the lyrics. I thought I'd, like the way he even says this line, I thought I'd have it in the bag by now. I thought that we'd be kicking back by now. I know that life is a bitch. I know that life is a bitch. I thought we'd put her in a cab by now. I'm going to read this whole fucking part because every single line in here is great, but I'm stressed and I can't relax. I'm speeding with a blindfold on. It won't be long until they watch me crash. Obviously, you look deeper in the lyrics. He's not literally speeding in a car with a blindfold on about to hit a brick wall. It's more of a metaphor. It's just like his life is kind of out of control. Feels like he's in a speeding car with a blindfold on. He can't see what's in front of him. He can't control where the car is going. And everyone sees it. And everyone knows he's about to crash. When you start to break lyrics down like that, which is how I've always been with music, music starts to hit a lot closer to home. When you make generic lines like this, when you turn this into, oh, he's driving a car with a blindfold on, and you can kind of compare this to like a metaphor about life, which I do with a lot of lyrics, even if I probably shouldn't, makes songs really, really hit hard. It's time I need to man up, admit it's a problem. I need to wake up before one morning I don't wake up. That's another thing with knowing what happened to Mac Miller. It's just sad to hear. It's a very emotional song. Here's my favorite song or line in the entire song. I'm considering getting this tattooed on me. I love this. I know it's not like an original line by him, but it's like, you make your mistakes never make you. So true. You know, you make your mistakes don't make you. I'm just repeating it at this point, but it's just like, you aren't your mistakes, you know, learn from your mistakes. Dude, that song right there. Such a masterpiece. Might be my favorite Mac Miller song. When in Rome is just a nice, upbeat, fired you up kind of song. ROS is a great slow love song. Gotta love ROS. Cut the Check with Chief Keef. Another just good head bobber, driving down the freeway type music. Ascension in the Festival. Probably the worst two songs on the album. And Jump, gotta love Jump. So nearly every song on this album I love. I don't know how I put it at B tier, but it definitely deserves to be at S tier. This is a really tough one. The Divine Feminine. I've been debating up until this moment where to put it. I still kind of am undecided. It's going in S tier below Good AM. I was considering placing it above Good AM. And I still am. I really, really still am. But this is the biggest turnaround. This went from bottom tier all the way up to top tier. And that happened because this is an album about love. Let's open it on Spotify. This is an album about love and, you know, sex and romance and things like that. And back on April 20th of 2022, I'll be honest with you guys, everything this album was about wasn't something I can relate to. And that's what makes music great. Lyrics that don't relate to you may not, and they will not, mean as much to you as lyrics that do hit home to you. And I did like songs on this album. Back then, I did like Congratulations. I did like Dang. I did like My Favorite Part. But that's just because I enjoyed like the songs themselves. But now I can really connect to this album. Now I can relate to this album. I can understand how he feels when he's talking about certain things. A lot has changed in 7 months for me. And now that I can relate to this album, the lyrics have new meanings to me. They're relatable. I can understand what he means. I can hear the sincerity in his voice. And I love this album now. I love nearly every single song on this album. Congratulations, absolute banger. Dang, absolute banger. Stay, absolute banger. Skin, it's like A tier, maybe B tier song. Cinderella, absolutely love this song. I clowned on this song for being 8 minutes long. It's not a long song. I don't know. I like I said, I couldn't relate to the album too much. I didn't enjoy the album too much. I thought he was just like, oh, this dude can't stop talking about pussy. Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all you talk about is pussy, bro. Like, that's kind of how I looked at the album before. But now I'm like, yo, I love pussy. I love this album. So Cinderella and Ty Dolla $ign, his feature fits in amazingly. I love him on the chorus. One of the weaker songs on the album, Planet Goddamn. decent, but not one of my favorites. Soulmate, love it. We with CeeLo Green, decent. My favorite part, I really like the beat and I like the meaning and the story behind this song. And the one with Kendrick Lamar, I really like this song. And when I'm listening to the album in its entirety, like because it's a short album, 52 minutes, I have sat down and listened to this album from song 1 to song 10 at least 10 plus times now, like especially at work. And when you listen to the entirety of the album, the outro of this song of God is Fair, Sexy Nasty makes perfect sense. But it's like if you're just having this in a playlist and this just comes on and you get the near 3 minute, essentially 3 minute outro of a lady talking, it's like, okay. So it's it's still a really good song, don't get me wrong, but not a showcase song of the album. But yeah, I really love this album now. I can relate to it. And that's why I was hating on it at first. But now I actually really, really like this album. So it goes all the way from D tier up to S tier. Now we move on to Swimming. Swimming, just like last time, it's going in S tier, but it's going in the #1 spot. Even moving this, I'm like, damn, maybe I do put Divine Feminine above Good AM. I don't know. They're literally neck and neck. If I could put them in the same position, I would. I almost can't rank one over the other. They're both great, but I guess I'll put Good AM slightly above it. Swimming, fantastic album, masterpiece, love it, front to end, forward to back, whatever you want to call it. I absolutely love Swimming. Come Back to Earth, great. Hurt Feelings, great. What's the Use, great. For Perfecto, great. Self-Care, great. Wings, great. Ladders, great. Literally the first 8 songs on the album, all S tier songs. Conversation Part 1 is the first one where it kind of starts to fall off for me, but still a great song. I don't know why I pronounced that so weird. Dunno. It's just dunno. I don't know. Saying that just alone, like, I don't know. That sounds fine, but saying dunno, I don't know. That feels weird. Good song, though. Jet Fuel, amazing song. 2009, amazing song. And So It Goes, great song. The two lacking songs, not even lacking because I love every single song on this album. It's definitely So It Goes and Conversation Part 1. Those are the two where it's like the weakest for me, but they're still great. Don't get me wrong. Love it forward and back. Can't clown on it. I don't even have one negative thing to say about it. Probably my favorite album of all time. And then Circles. Circles, this is tough. Circles is staying in S tier, but I think it's going to the bottom of S tier. I think I had Circles in my previous #1 spot because that was the only album I did have connection to and memories with and time to listen to. Because I listened, and I said this in this video, I listened to Circles about almost a full year before I heard any of his other albums. Like I said in this, I was on a date with a girl. I told her to put on some music. She put on Mac Miller's Circles album. I loved it. And obviously I loved it a little bit more because I'm like, this girl I'm into likes this. And now I like this, blah, blah, blah. It's still a great album in my opinion, but I can't put it above these three. Still a lot of great songs. Let's take a look. Circles Deluxe. Circles, great song. Complicated, good song. Blue World, great song. Good News, great song. I Can See, good song. Everybody, good song. Woods, great song. Hand Me Downs, great song. That's On Me, okay. Hands, I like Hands. Surf is a great song. Once a Day is okay. Right, great song. Floating. Like I said, nothing on that album. Anything in S tier, I can't really have anything negative to say about it because that's the meaning of S tier. But out of these 4 great albums, I think Circles definitely has the most songs I would skip if I had to, because like there's songs I like where it's like I Can See, I like that song. I do. This is probably the most standout case is I like the song, but there's a time here and there I'll skip it. I'll tell the truth. So take a look at this. That's our tier list now versus 7 months ago. What an insane difference. A lot more in S tier. Yeah, the median is like higher up, as you can see. It's like a pyramid. It just gets bigger and bigger as it goes up. Before, I kind of had it balance out around A tier. I think, yeah, literally every single album has changed places. That's why I wanted to redo this video. And I love Mac Miller, great artist, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoy, you know the deal on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage. If you guys want another style of this video with any other artist that I'd be into, not that you guys would know, but just drop some recommendations. Let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.